G'day and welcome back to Torment Thursdays. Last time around we fixed a clock and then the Sorrow showed up and kicked us out. I saw what happened. Are you alright? That thing... Oh, sorry, wrong voice. I saw what happened. Are you alright? That thing nearly killed you. Where did that fragment come from? There's a piece the Sorrow released into your mind earlier. Watch your step. There are probably more of them about. His voice is somber. The Sorrow must be gathering its strength, taking spaces in your mind to keep you from reaching your full potential. Don't know why it doesn't destroy you. Maybe the fragments aren't strong enough. Yet. It's alright though. We have more important things to do, right? Like get the chamber fixed. I found the resonance chamber. It's broken. Yeah, I saw that. Don't see everything you do out there, but I definitely saw that. You have to find a way to fix it. How did activating the clock in the real world open the other fathom? Who knows, probably triggered something in your mind, made a bridge you didn't have before. Maybe you did have the bridge once, but you lost it. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Farewell. Good luck. Alright, so now we've talked to the Spectre, the next plan is to just get out of here. There's nothing much to this place, really. Let's just wake up. And there are plenty of interesting conversations to have with the Spectre, but right now I don't really care about most of them. So let's see. We've got the clock going. We've got ourselves our resources, and we've got ourselves a focus. How did I use that focus again? So natural charisma just means that I can always use more intellect on those tasks. That's fine. Assuming it's intellect that will be used on any of these ones. Yeah, they do want me to return to Casmine and Mimion. Okay.
Thanks for helping me free wrist, lad. Not that the little ingrate appreciated it.
It's really interesting actually having these voices. So, you think he'll make good on his threats? Should we be watching our backs? I wouldn't worry about it, he says, chuckling. Reese doesn't have as many friends as he thinks he does. I was practically the only one. So was it like Reese said, you only freed him so he wouldn't be implicated? I'd be a liar if that wasn't part of it, he says, looking at his boots. But I really care for the boy and wouldn't wish him harm for all the world. And I could have run. He chews his lip. I could have. Let me ask you something else. How are you holding up? I'm fine, lad. I hope you won't regret our friendship when the time comes to part ways. Type stretches. Okay, let's do that. And I actually meant to talk to her. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimion. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. He turns to you. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. He bows gravely to you. You are most welcome here. And we do have answers for your questions, revered one. That is, as soon as we hear a report of what you have found. Tell us. I met Kemose, Divya, Tiku, and Villain. Disappointment creases her face. I know those names. They're not new to us. They were favored servants of your creator, cast-offs who served him well indeed. Divya Tiku brought the Order of Truth to Sega's cliffs, but they betrayed their holy trust and disappeared. Nevertheless, we will honor the arrangement. You sought answers about who might repair the resonance chamber. We know your... We know your sire built it with the aid of another cast-off, still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him or her. I know of only one other cast-off still in the city, the albino assassin Matkina. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. Last I heard of her, she was in the underbelly. Seek her, but be wary. Okay, you know what? Let's actually kind of pursue the main quest until it's time to leave the city. I think that could work out pretty well for us. So Celestige is up. Can't do these ones because I guess she already counts as having improved ability, stat pools, etc. So it's got to be increased edge or extra effort. I think increasing an edge... Oh, right, she locks you out of particular choices. So it'd be great to know... Okay, I think for her, increasing her intellect edge is a good plan. Okay, great. The targeting eye. Ah, cool. Yep, that all seems pretty good.
Absolutely.
So let's try and get the next part of the... Let's just push on the main quest. So the next stage is in the underbelly. I like that they've actually got this fairly distinct color scheme for damage. I do not know why I'm so yawny today. Anyway, there's a couple of things I want to do. Right, I want to talk to the mapper, who's down here, and I want to talk to the stitcher, and I think I need to go stitcher, mapper, stitcher. I can also talk to this shifty fella, Palai. In fact, I'll do that first. Get that, task. This violet-skinned visitant paces back and forth before the cavern's opening. It wears fine clothing that serves to accentuate the tall, thin crest on its head. A small symbol has been painted on the crest, mirroring the insignia marked on its chest. Its clothes are finely tailored and well-made. The name of the creature's race calls to your mind. It's a Vargella, and this one has temporarily chosen to be female. Her bulbous eyes flash quickly around her surroundings before focusing directly on you. The council didn't send you. This is plain. You're aware that this cave isn't safe, I hope. What exactly do you want? I was wondering what you are doing here. I'm conducting a diplomatic negotiation on behalf of the city. Unfortunately, I'm not dealing with a reasonable species. Her crest flutters irritably. Made no progress at all. Days wasted in this miserable tunnel, and I have nothing to show my superiors. Maybe I can help you negotiate. She looks you up and down, considering. Doubtful, but you might have other skills I can use. So the circumstances call for a new tactic, and these levies cannot do what needs to be done. Nor can I. If you think you can help, let's put you to the test. These damnable Stitch. I speak to them, I offer, I cajole, I negotiate, and threaten. They persist in their digging, and every day another house on the cliff slips into the sea. If the digging does not cease, the city itself may crumble. So here is my request. Find a way into their lair, remove their precious eggs, and return them to me. These hostages shall ensure the future of the city above. If you can negotiate a lasting settlement that does not require such drastic measures, you may also pursue that method. But I've been trying for days with no success. I think I can help you. Good. We need to stop the Stitcher before they bring down the entire substructure of the city. If you manage to infiltrate their lair, be sure to acquire all their eggs. I suspect they'll have multiple clusters, and we will need them all if we want to negotiate from a position of strength. She hands you a synth ball with a blinking device inside. Once you're inside the lair, activate this. It'll show you all the tunnels, the egg clusters, and the Stitch themselves. Better to know what you face before you charge ahead. Thank you. And thank you for giving me a fiddle, for giving me too much stuff. Okay, so I would like to pass that over to someone. No, I don't want a discard item. Ah, here we go. There we go. And did that restore... That put me at those. Did I have 3 or 2 points before? I have this sneaking suspicion, and this seems remarkably abusable. Let's just try something.
These ciphers are killing me.
Okay. And then... Okay, nope. Doesn't do what I thought it might do. But I thought I had 2 before. Whatever. So now what we do is we talk to the mapper. Mapper is down here. From a distance, it looks as if this mutant is wearing a form-fitting suit of finely patterned lines in white, yellow, and pale blue. On closer examination, it becomes apparent that these tattoos, and they cover nearly the entirety of his body. These are tattoos, and they cover nearly the entirety of his body, even his shaved head. His actual clothes are simple and worn, and his boots look as though they've seen hard use. He's studying the meaningless swirls and whirls on his arms and mouthing names that mean nothing to you. Solvi, Bant, Ugao, 10 trees. When he looks at you, you see a strange device covers one of his eyes. A deep blue light shines in its center, and it seems to measure and evaluate you even as he focuses on you. He smiles as you approach. A broad, beaming grin says that he considers you a friend already. I'm Mappa, he says, extending his hand. I've been everywhere around here. I've found my way into places long sealed and best forgotten. Met all sorts of people. He frowns. Can't say I cared much for some of them, it's true. His voice is fast, insistent, and incisive. Still, I try. The communities of our world are islands of light. Sometimes they wink out, and sometimes they flare up. I want to link them together. I want to be a bridge. I'm looking for a woman named Matkina. Do you know where I can find her? Matkina, the White Death? I've heard of her. I know where she hides. He grins wide, exposing a mouthful of extraordinarily white and clean teeth. I can tell you where she is, but I hate to say it comes with a price. Much as I love to talk about my travels, I need to finish a patch of my Sega's Cliffs maps, and I need bragging rights for the next time I see navigators. He shrugs. Also, she might not be happy, I've told. But I might be able to help you find it. For a trade, of course. He drops his voice. Have you ever heard of the Changing God, savior of Sega's Cliffs in times past and so forth? They say he had a sanctuary under the city, a place he used to retreat to and make plans for the future while he thought of on his past. You know, making possibility maps. That sanctuary is the one important place I haven't seen in Sega's Cliffs, and I need it to fill in my map. As far as I can tell, it's not far past the Stitcher lair. The problem is I can't make any sense of their language. Maybe you can talk to them. It's a hell of a price, I know, but there it is. You want to talk to them, Makina? You'll find the sanctuary for me. Is there any way in beside the Stitcher lair? There must be. Changing God wasn't the kind of person who just put one entrance into the place, but I've been able to find the back door for the life of me. Why don't you go finding the sanctuary yourself? Okay. The Stitcher. They got the eggs in. Yeah, sure. I'll be back when I found the sanctuary. Right. So what I'll need to do is talk to the Stitcher first. I'm really hoping I can remember their language, because the Changing God definitely knew it at one point. This massive creature looms over you. It's sent like lightning, and an underground cavern washes over you. It reminds you of nothing so much as curiosity. It chitters and rumbles, waving its large claws through an expressive dance. Something about these smells, sounds, and gestures seems familiar, a niggling itch in the back of your mind. At least you remember the taxonomy now. This is a Stitchus, a huge, burrowing insectoid. It points to itself and says, Chikekt. It follows with another stream of high-pitched noise. I've come to ask you to stop digging under the city. Chikek waves its arms around, and the air fills with a scent of slow-growing fungus. You think it says, "Why?" followed by more incomprehensible chittering, and then it speaks slowly and carefully. Not learn us speech, not work us. No, not now. We dig. Can you tell me about the Stitcher? Scrabbles briefly at the wall. A bolt of lightning flares around the crown of antennae in its head. Its shoulders shrug and you smell dust. Can you tell me about this place? Good rock, full of electricity. Can you dig under the city? Can you take me someplace? Yes. Shins. Okay, that's what we want. You almost have the sense of the language, the structure, the feel, the sound and scent. The itch in your mind intensifies. You can feel the memory of the Stitch's language waiting to reveal itself. Okay, you are a companion. Now have 1 point of edge. It's 1 free level of effort. Okay, so I can make this a 75% chance, which I totally will. For 1, that seems totally reasonable. Your mind blurs, a memory racing from forgotten depths. You see yourself interacting with the Stitches, the two of you patiently exchanging hand signals, a small box between the two of you translating your words and thoughts. Each time it conveys a thought or concept, the device sends a stimulus into the appropriate parts of your brain and electricity into your limbs, making you a marionette. Your muscles twitch in sympathy with these memories, and you realize that the Stitch's tongue is a jumble of scent, movement, and sounds. With the memory, information pours into your mind. As if a plug had been removed, the smell of granite fills your nose. And as you return to normal consciousness, Chikek leans forward. Chikek smelled granite. Knowledge, it rumbles. Its spiracles vent a minuscule trace of gas. The Stitch's looks at you, and its body posture and slight movements indicate a question. Does the human speak Stitches? Your muscles remember, you twitch the proper response. Chikek huffs the scent of lightning. Never speak Chikek to human, so heard memory from elder, not believe. Human almost sentient. Imagine, grub think like Stitches. It claps its hand together. Speak smart. Better now. I've come to ask you to stop digging underneath the city. Why? Where we go? Give reason to stop. The humans above are suffering. When humans dig, they care for us? No. Why we care for them? We'll discuss it later. Farewell. So, I'm pretty sure the mapper knows of a location for the Stitches that is better than here. Let's see if I can get him to tell me that. I could do the persuasion check. You say you want to be a bridge. How do you even do that? I travel, I see places, I map them out on my skin, maybe inside me. I don't know, the lines change when I look, and they've got to be stored somewhere, right? He scratches his bald head, the lines flow onto his fingers. I just need to collect places, I need to know that I've done something. Making maps is all I know, all I want to know. Where did you get all those tattoos? Those are not tattoos, they're maps, blah blah blah, yep. So... where have you been? It's probably easier to ask where I haven't been. All over the Sagas Protectorates, the Oasis of Mrazrala, the Valley of Dead Heroes, Colm Village, the ruins of Archipelasia, and all around the Black Cube. Tower of Birds, where Third Lost fell, even up past the Clock of Kala to Vrak. As he speaks, the lines of his body shift and move, coming into prominence with the words. Every place was a treat, an experience. Did you know most people never go more than 50 kilometers from the village of their birth, if that? I've been tremendously lucky, my friend. He smiles down at his maps. Then he looks back at you and says more quietly, if you plan to travel, I'd avoid the grasslands, though. The birds will take your meat for their meals and your bones for their nests. Can you tell me about the places you've been again? No. Do you know how... no... come on, I know this is frustrating because I know last time round he had an answer for me and this time round he doesn't because I can't seem to bring up the right subject. Can you tell me more about the Stitcher? He considers the question briefly, then emits a puff of pheromones that smells like the smells of soft rock crumbling under determined hands. Reminds you of resigned acceptance. Speak, Chikek will answer. Why are you digging here? This arm, Chikek raises its great arm. Dig, draw energy from rock, from friction. Eat electric charge, store electric charge. Points to spiny growths on its plating. Here, rock, good, hard, much electric, best found. Other places, not good. Why are you digging under populated areas? Stitches says blankly at you, its eyes shimmering. It must be trying to put its thought into a statement you can understand. Stitcher must survive, must live where food is, yes? He doesn't wait for an affirmation. Human, watch every step, avoid stepping on insect, no impact on other life, sacrifice of others is natural order. Taps you on chest, smart for human, points to rest of underbelly. Not smart, why concern? Not sentient. Again, people in the city aren't sentient, that's not true. Stitches shifts its weight back and forth. Simple humans, fight, eat, kill, they try steal egg. Not harmony, not sentient, sentient, it trills the skull. Okay. Cool. Now we know about that. Can we go back? This may be a little bit frustrating for you. It's also frustrating for me, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I've done it before, and I have to do it again. Do you know of a place where the rock is hard and full of energies of prior worlds? The kind the Stitcher like to dig. Is that supposed to be a challenge? Not far from Sagas. Big old spire of black rock glimmers and shines, but only under starlight. It seems to be balanced precariously on the cliffside, but it drives down deep into the earth. Stitcher should find it ideal. Frankly, I'm not sure why they're in the city in the first place, unless they're just being lazy. That spire's a much better spot for their kind. Okay, thank you. That's what I was hoping to hear. I've never had this where I've found that information out and been able to speak Stitcher at the same time. I've come again to ask you to stop digging under the city. I know of a better place for you to dig. A spire of black rock not far from here, full of the energy of prior worlds. The Stitches' spiracles twitch, and a aroma of marble and clay pervades the area. Better rock? Seems to consider your words. Could find Spire if we chose. I can... Do you want your people to have a future? Do you want war with the humans above? They'll collapse the tunnels. They'll destroy you. Yeah, right. This is the one extra level of effort that we can put in. Let's just stick with a 75% chance, though. It's somewhat arbitrary, but hey. It considers your words for a time, and the sense that surround it vary from the frightened to the mundane. At last, the smell of synth and strong glass waft past your nose, and Shikek says, "Human give good reason." Yes, Stitcher comply. We will move to new home in Blackspire. Stitcher not trouble brown grubs. We leave. Okay, there we go. I have news about the Stitcher. Good news, I trust. I've handled negotiations with the Stitcher. She lifts one foot to begin pacing and to start considering her options, and she stops. She slowly turns towards you, each eye rotating separately. She lowers her foot and turns to face you squarely and bites off each word. What did you do? I told the Chikek to battle rock formation that would better suit their needs. The Stitcher will be losing soon. No need to steal their eggs. You left the eggs with them. How will we enforce their exile without that leverage? She smooths her crest and blinks her eyes slowly. Fine, we can work with this for now. We have time to engineer another solution. Did you promise them anything else? No. Good, then our work here is complete, and I can return to the council chamber. Hey, a bonded item. Okay. These are pieces of equipment that go in the bonded equipment slot. When equipped, they fuse directly to skeleton, nervous system, or organs, providing significant positive effects, but also some negative effects. You can equip up to 2 bonded items at once. If your concentration skills at the novice level, both items inflict their negative effects. If trained, you ignore the effects of a first item, and if specialized, you ignore the negative effects from bonded items entirely. If your skill is in ability, one of those slots is unable to be used entirely. Gotcha. The city of Sagas Cliffs owes you its gratitude. I'll credit you in my report to council. So she would get really annoyed if we also had promised them tribute. So that's kind of neat. And I suspect it was an easier persuade check. I don't know. So, these reduce your stealth, make you immune to dazed and blinded, and increase your perception. This pipette contains a liquid of deepest fullergen, a color darker than black. Applied to the eyes, the liquid spreads evenly over the eyeball, but instead of causing blindness, it enhances the user's vision and thickens when necessary to protect the eyes from harm. The liquid doesn't bond with the user's eyes. It rests lightly atop them, controlled by nanomachines. It can be directed to keep the eyes in place and control their thickness. The liquid can be removed by crying black tears back into the vial. So, in terms of my skills, I don't think I have concentration. So if I take this, I effectively get perception at the cost of concentration.
Not bad.
And yeah, so I had stealth before, and I can remove this, right? Yeah, so I basically swap out a skill.
I feel terrible.
And if I advance, I can get an ability or skill, which I think I will get. What's the ability? Infuse weapon? Nah. Oh, it's a skill. I can grab 1 concentration, confirm,
I understand.
and that gives me concentration. What does this do? They've got stealth, and if I put this back in place, I've also got perception. Okay, so it did require taking it off and putting it back, but I think that's a better approach overall. And that also gives me concentration ready. Concentration checks, I can flex skill to gather other skills, so that's all pretty cool. Tiber, you also get to level now. And so Tiber, we can only increase his stat pools right now. He wants, I think, these 2.
I've learned a thing or two.
Issue challenge. All enemies basically have to attack him. Interesting. And they also get a penalty on attacks. Yeah. Cool. And we can give him skilled with defense, which makes him harder to hit. or resourceful, which gives him extra ciphers. I think I'm going to give him skill with defense. Make him harder to hit. Plus 10% is weird because it should, in theory, be all 15%. But whatever. Alright, now let's talk to Chikekt and see if he can help us get to the sanctuary. Egg friend, Chikekt whistles. The smell of dust and closed air surrounds it. The creature is clearly glad to see you. Stitcher moved to new home. Is good place. Chikekt gone soon. Human one travel before Chikekt leave. Is free for good human. Can you take me someplace under the city? Friend to Stitcher, yes. No pay for you. Free. I've heard the Changing God had a sanctuary under the city. Can you take me there? Yes. For Stitcher friend, yes. Can take to Egg Tunnel. Then walk to place, yes? Okay. So, for those of you that didn't watch the last series, this is definitely a necessary part. Emerging from the freshly dug tunnel, you find yourself in a small chamber with veins of refined metal glimmering along the ground and walls. Chikekt turns to face you. Placed beyond was egg rooms, hatching chambers. Future Stitcher moved far away. Sanctuary on other side of Nut Nest. And so this place was full of Stitcher. And there's like some pretty interesting things you can do with a whole bunch of the Numenera here. But I didn't really want to deal with it. Alright, this was really painful because also the combat was buggy, and there is a like non-combat but crisis-based option you can use here, which involves sneaking, which I'm really not opposed to at all. You can totally distract everyone and sneak your way through, except that in the previous version of the beta that was broken and the game would just stop responding because it didn't know when to move on to your next turn. I don't quite understand why. All I know is it was really hard to get through this without the game breaking, and it was really frustrating, and I had to do it like 3 times. So I'm glad to have avoided it entirely this way. Warm sinews of light lace the walls, spiraling into the base of a hollow statue. It gleams in the same color as the glowing strands. Faint scratches along the base, about the size of Stitcher's claws, suggest they hit the statue while tunneling and could not extract it. Round tubes with apertures of varying sizes connect to a central drum. A soft breeze from the newly dug burrow behind you hums over the opening. Gnarled metallic veins running through the rocky walls will deaden the noise from the device. It's unlikely to be heard outside this room. Let's strike the drum at the center of the statue. Your stomach flips as a wave of vibrating air buffets you for a fraction of a second. Golden light flows up through the seams into the statue, forming a looping pattern in the center of the drum. As the rumbling continues, energy coruscates along the veins of rock running into the device. After a moment, the sound gutters away, but wispy tracings of the pattern continue on the surface. It's approximately the size of a human hand, but the shape's more like a dozen tentacles. Let's place your hand on the light tracings. The same sound you heard before rattles your gut. It sputters but remains on. The acoustics have deteriorated over the millennia. The sound is intermittent. There's something fascinating about it that forces you to pay attention. You easily tear your focus away, but the effect might be stronger if the statue is fully intact, especially on a creature with non-human psychology. That thing reminds me of a lass I once saw playing a flute in iron. Had a pack of gents stumbling after her, downright captivated. Might have been her music, might have been that she didn't have a single stitch on. Still, I remember I smiled the most. And there's one other thing I wanted to do. Reach inside the nearest opening. Hey, you reach inside, you feel a piece of loose material. It pulls free with a light tug. Whatever technology the statue represents has been worn away by digging in time, but its fragments may still be useful to you. So that's kind of a speed healing potion. So yeah, like this whole area is kind of neat. Ah. But all of these things were useful for like distracting. And that's the front one's the only one that you can actually do anything with directly beyond like striking them to make sound.
Yes.
But I think we'll leave it here. Next time round we will go into the sanctuary. I'm really glad I didn't have to fight my way through this one this time. Maybe I can find a way to avoid the fight in the sanctuary as well. We'll see. Until then, have a great day. Bye. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.